Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again. Lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. So today, I want to talk about how we're gonna tap in with Promethean Updates, and she's gonna kind of go over how basically they want to sabotage the whole Russia-Ukraine deal that Trump is trying to make, and she gives you some more insight on that whole ordeal. Then we're gonna tap in with Brian Maxwell, who basically does like a comparison, a recap sort of uh, the Biden administration and then Trump's administration, and how actually Trump is having some success so far going into 2026. And then we're gonna end the show tapping in with uh, Tales from the Jail. Shout out to them on YouTube. Go tap in with them. They be having a lot of Muslim brothers be having guys come on there. They had Wallow on there. This one they got Oschino Vasquez on there, former artist of the Rockefeller. He was on there, talk about his story and how he was in his time in jail. Just talking about different shit they got to do with jail or whatever. Not necessarily glorifying it, just talking about it, whatever the case may be. And then it just so happens that his son, who's locked up doing 20 to 40 over Philly, it's different over here in Jersey. Like for instance, I did two bids. I did a 5 with 85. It means 5 years, you do 85% of it. And then I did another one was a 5 with a 1, but they maxed me out, so I ended up doing 3.5. Maxed out doing like 3.5. And but anyway, he did 20 to 40, which means he got to do 20 years before he eligible for parole. But his son taps in, he calls, and they had a conversation, and I wanted to play it because the thing I like about O is that he be keeping it real, no matter what. He one of them dudes that just don't give a fuck. He keep it real, but he also has like a line that he won't cross, which I respect when it comes to this internet shit, because some of these dudes get on here and they'll pretty much say and do anything for clickbait or whatever, and he be keeping it real, and I fuck with it. But anyway, let's get into this politics talk first. All right, let's get into it.
While media and influencers on all sides of the political spectrum are screaming that Donald Trump sold out in his meetings with Zelensky and Netanyahu, the real enemy just admitted that Donald Trump has them on the ropes. Just days
I fucked up. Let's do that shit. My bad.
after Donald Trump released his national security strategy in early December, the British House of Lords convened a session in London to discuss how to stop Trump and his new strategy. And one of them was caught on record telling his peers to ignore the president because, as he said,
I was in Washington, D.C. last week with other members of the NATO Parliamentary Assembly, and when the national security strategy was discussed with our fellow elected members in the US, their message was clear that NSSs come and go, sometimes they're implemented and sometimes they don't, but we should judge by what Congress passes. And the National Defence Appropriation Act last week delivered an extra £8 billion to European defence and put a floor of some 76,000 troops, US troops in Europe.
the translation of that, the national security strategy is a mortal threat to the British Empire, and we're going to activate all of our networks in the United States to try and stop it. They're saying this because they're terrified. But if you listen to the noise in Washington and in social media, you'd think Trump was the one losing control. Because in the last few days after the president met with Zelensky and Netanyahu, the political world has exploded. Now, if you listen to Mike Pompeo and the neocons, Trump sold out to Putin. If you listen to the anti-war crowd, he sold out to Zelensky. If you follow the MAGA wars or Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're being told he surrendered to Israel, or can we just do America? They're all wrong. What you just witnessed wasn't a sellout, it was a takeover. It was the first live-fire test of the very strategy the British are trying to kill. Trump hasn't surrendered. He signed the Do Not Resuscitate order for the British post-war world. And that's why they're not celebrating in London or Brussels tonight. They realize the special relationship, their ability to manipulate American power for their wars, is over, as long as Donald Trump is calling the shots. I'm Susan Kokinda. I became politically active way back in 1968, campaigning for Robert F. Kennedy Sr. in California when he was assassinated. For decades, my colleagues at Promethean Action and I have been in the real fight. So take it from a political veteran. If enough of you understand what Trump is doing, we're going to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our independence in 2026 by finishing the job. So if that sounds like your kind of fight, hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons so we can expand our reach. Today I'm going to look.
See, I like tapping in with these type of content creators because number one, she be going into deeper dives on things that a lot of people aren't really talking about, and kind of gives you a breakdown of how Trump is actually really trying to stop these wars that's going on. As president, I believe that they kind of be put in predicaments to where like for instance with the whole Israel thing. I don't believe that Trump really even, it's just the fact that all of these presidents pretty much had this alliance with Israel, and I think it's just kind of like where Trump has no choice pretty much. And I don't know, it's weird, but she kind of breaks down this whole ordeal between Trump and this whole British Empire, is what she calls it. I believe that's the EU, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but let's see what more she got to say about this.
At how the new national security strategy is in action with Trump's meetings with Zelensky and Netanyahu. How the British are directly deployed to stop the national security strategy, and how Trump's economic revolution led by tariffs is the final blow to the British system. Now, if you're living in the world of binary choices, pro-Israel versus pro-Palestinian, free world versus Putin and the other autocrats, you're missing the tectonic shifts taking place. So you have Mike Pompeo screaming that Trump sold out to Putin. You have a part of the MAGA movement declaring that Trump sold out to Netanyahu, and another part applauding it. And they're all wrong. The truth is in this document, the 2025 National Security Strategy. And this week, Trump used it to clear the board. So
I haven't really been hearing anybody talk about the national security strategy that Trump came out with.
Start with Russia and Ukraine.
Besides hers.
The British and the EU sent Zelensky to Mar-a-Lago with a mission: demand open-ended security guarantees, NATO membership, and keep the war machine running. They're operating off of Winston Churchill's post-war playbook that says Russia is our permanent enemy. But Trump is operating off his new national security strategy. And here's what it says. It is a core interest of the United States to negotiate an expeditious cessation of hostilities in Ukraine, to prevent unintended escalation or expansion of the war, and reestablish strategic stability with Russia. And then a little later, and to end the perception and prevent the reality of NATO as a perpetually expanding alliance. That is what is driving Trump's negotiating position with Zelensky. So how did the empire respond to Trump's refusal to bend? Immediately after the meeting, drones attacked President Putin's residence in Valdai. The Russians were furious, but they called it a slap in the face to Trump. Now ask yourself, was this really just Zelensky going rogue, or was the British hand at work? We're not alone in pointing out that British intelligence plays a bigger role in guiding these drone systems than the Ukrainians do. As the conservative Treehouse blog put it in their coverage of the attack, I suspect the British did it. So this wasn't a military strike, it was a sabotage operation designed to blow up the Trump-Putin peace channel. But Trump and Putin refused to take the bait. They aren't pawns anymore. Here's Trump's response.
President Putin told me about it. Early in the morning, he said he was attacked. It's no good. It's no good. Don't forget, the Tomahawks. I stopped the Tomahawks. I didn't want that. Because we're talking about, it's a delicate period of time. This is not the right time. It's one thing to be offensive, because they're offensive. It's another thing to attack his house. It's not the right time to do any of that, and can't do it. And I learned about it from President Putin today. I was very angry about it.
And Putin's spokesman, Ushakov,
They hate the fact that he's truly trying to stop these wars, bro. Like, they hate it. They want to get, and this is, bro. All Trump is really doing is just exposing everybody's hand, bro. The Democrats, these other so-called allies, and that's why I always be saying, but this stuff is deeper than what people think. And people get out here and they dress their conversations up with, with patriotism, but really, truly, these people want forever wars, and that's what it's been seeming like for literally a decade, at least as far as I see, as far as Russia and the United States goes, that they've been trying to keep this going because they literally had a deal with Russia about not making Ukraine part of NATO, and then Biden reneged on that deal, and which caused pretty much Russia to attack. But it's like this is what they want. This stuff be deeper than what we can fathom. But she be kind of breaking this shit down. I don't be hearing too many people talk about this stuff.
reported that in that conversation with Trump, Vladimir Putin emphasized that the Russian side intends to continue close and productive work with its U.S. partners in searching for ways to achieve peace. Now, watch how this same grand strategy explains the panic over the Netanyahu meeting. For decades, the British have used the Mideast as the cockpit of war. They've created Zionism and Islamic fundamentalism to play the superpowers and victim nations against each other. The new national security strategy flips the board over. It accurately states that for a half-century, American foreign policy prioritized the Mideast above all other regions because it was a major energy supplier, and it described it as a prime theater of superpower competition. But the NSS goes on to say those dynamics no longer hold because superpower competition has given way to great power jockeying, in which the United States retains the most enviable position, reinforced by President Trump's successful revitalization of our alliances in the Gulf, with other Arab partners, and with Israel. Catch that? Revitalization of our alliances in the Gulf with other Arab partners and with Israel. Not Israel first,
Right.
despite what Tucker Carlson thinks. Trump is saying, we're not playing your games any longer. And he is deliberately and quietly removing.
Yo, and that's why I think too, if like, let's just say if something happens, but that's be the tricky part because they, like, for instance, like when Bibi Netanyahu came here, what was that, in the 90s, and claiming, weapons of mass destruction and all of that. Like, that's the stuff you gotta like be wary of because that's what they do. That be their strategies, is to claim that, it's weapons in the Middle East and we need to go and before, something major happens, and that's the kind of stuff they do. But also with all of these illegal immigrants that came in the country too, that's like probably the biggest national security risk because with all foreign countries, because you don't really know who's here and what's their intentions, and at any time, that switch can be flipped, and it could be a full blown. It could be used as a tool to start a war. You know what I'm saying, in the Middle East or in Russia or whatever, because when you when you own the media, you own the narrative, and that's all they need is a reason, a plot, and they got their reasons to do whatever it is that you're trying to do. And I think that Trump is trying to avoid all of these things. And that's why I want to. I mean, I don't want nothing to happen, of course, but it'd be interesting to see if something was to come about, like how BB Netanyahu did before. We'll kind of see then, because we have they had a deal on the table. I haven't heard anything since that. It's kind of seemed like it's some sort of peace there with with Israel and the Middle East with Hamas, but we'll see what happens with that.
Countries from the grip of the geopoliticians and treating them as independent nations with common interests with the United States, not as pawns or gas stations or triggers for religious prophecy. So, in that content, here's what Trump actually told Bibi Netanyahu: "You aren't the sheriff anymore. We'll take care of Iran if needed, and a coalition of outside forces will take care of Hamas if needed. Number two, we don't agree on the West Bank, and you're going to have to deal with that. And number three, the United States is working with Syria and with Turkey's Erdogan, whether you like it or not." Trump is taking countries who are run by not so nice people, like Syria, like Turkey, and for that matter, Israel, and moving them off Britain's geopolitical chessboard and into the world dominated by Trump's America First policies of sovereignty. This is grand strategy. For the first time since 1945, the United States is acting as a sovereign nation, not as the queen protecting the empire's chessboard. And Trump is knocking the chess pieces off their board one by one. He's replacing permanent war with bilateral business. This is really big. But if you're stuck in the binary trap, arguing about which side is the good guys, you're not going to understand this. So if you're tired of being forced to pick a side in someone else's war, you're ready for the American side. Subscribe to Promethean Action right now. We don't feed you binary choices. We show you the history behind the conflicts and the sovereign solutions. They know the jig is up and they're desperate to stop it. So the British Empire isn't going to go down without a fight. On December 11th, not too long after Trump released his national security strategy, the British House of Lords was all ready. They held a pearl-clutching session about the NSS and what they had to do about it. First, Lord Beamish happily reported that the U.S. Congress doesn't agree with Trump and his national security strategy.
Last week, the U.S. Congress, on a bipartisan basis, passed the National Defense Authorization Act, which was signed by the President on Thursday night. That act gives a commitment to U.S. troops in Europe, also highlights that it sees Russia as a threat not just to Europe but to the United States, and also gives a commitment to future U.S. Commitment to providing the senior military figure for Secure, the leader of the commander of NATO. Does my noble friend agree that we should be looking at actions rather than some of the wild statements coming from the White House?
Yeah. Then Lord Lancaster reported that he had just been in the U.S., where he discussed the problem of the national security strategy with members of the U.S. Congress.
I was in Washington, D.C. last week with other members of the NATO Parliamentary Assembly, and when the national security strategy was discussed with our fellow elected members in the US, their message was clear that NSSs come and go, sometimes they're implemented and sometimes they don't, but we should judge by what Congress passes. And the National Defence Appropriation Act last week delivered an extra £8 billion to European defence and put a floor of some 76,000 troops, US troops in Europe.
Did you hear that? National security strategies come and go. Does that remind you of what we reported last week? How outlets of empire like Chatham House and the Council on Foreign Relations want to outlast the president by bringing his economic and strategic revolution to an end in 2026 or 2028? How they're maintaining their Trojan horses in the Congress and the rest of the political landscape, the rhinos, the never-Trumpers like Mike Pence and the Koch interests? So while too many in the MAGA base are caught up in the fabricated faction fights and secondary issues, or frankly are acting like 5-year-olds demanding headline-grabbing indictments right now, Donald Trump is dismantling a strategic architecture that has been in place since 1945. an architecture that's used the United States as the dumb giant in the British Empire's globalist schemes.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo, she be breaking that shit down. I ain't gonna lie, she right though. She right. She right about the fact that they had people kind of like, you know, worrying about like the Epstein files and oh, the MAGA infighting and Democrat versus Republican, all of these different things that's going on. And truthfully, there's a bigger there's a bigger play. And so I said, yo, I've said this a while ago, but Trump is people got to remember, bro. Trump been through a lot over these last 8 years, uh, probably more like a decade. This last decade been through so much with the media, especially, but the lawfare, them actually trying to lock him up, bankrupt him, so many things. So for him to actually win the election in 16, which he was even shocked about, right? Have you know, a pretty much good presidency, even though really didn't deal in politics. Then ended with COVID miraculously happening out of nowhere, a whole pandemic, right? Then him getting cheated in 2020, losing the election to Joe Biden. So then he had 4 years to pretty much, I don't know what he was doing, but he came back and ran again and won in 24. So Trump already is business savvy and like, you know, up there with the elites as far as business is concerned. But now he really knows who is who and what is what when it comes to Washington D.C. So they're playing a game against somebody who's better than them at this. You know what I mean? And these are lifetime. That's why none of this stuff is working. You constantly hear, you know, these different things, these different headlines that are coming out about Trump, but none of it is working. He's getting shit done. Every time he turn around, he's beating something in the Supreme Court. So, that's why we about to tap in with Brian Maxwell right now, and he's gonna go over a lot of like the achievements and stuff that's been happening, and kind of comparing the Biden administration to what Trump has going on now. So let's get into that.
Because it's just been against the onslaught of the lawfare of the Biden administration, of the media, of the global partners around the country, all working in cahoots to help bankrupt and destroy the American country that we love, the American values that we believe in, the traditions that we grew up on. And we're not having that. And I don't care if you're black, brown, yellow, green. If you're from here and you love this country, then you will feel everything that's in this video. You can't say you love this country, but do everything you can to destroy it. No, you love destruction, and this country is just another stepping stone in your way to total global domination or destruction, whatever it is. But we about peace, love, and strength around here. So let's get to it now. The biggest and the most known achievement, obviously, is the border. The Trump administration did an amazing job at the border. But let's take a look back to what it was like with Biden and the reasons they give us. Then we're going to hear from our president. But check this out.
It's the toughest, most efficient, most effective border security bill this country has ever seen.
Democrats were on their back foot on immigration. Now we are on our front foot.
Look, the president has been very clear. We need that bipartisan border security bill.
By any objective measure, it's strong, tough, and realistic.
I will bring back the bipartisan border security bill that he killed, and I will sign it into law.
That was the bill that legalized 5,000 illegal immigrants a day, and then could really go up to 7,500 before the president would require it to be shut down. The president makes the final decision once it hits 7,500, but 5,000 was legally allowed. And it was like instant asylum, way more asylum judges. It was a joke. And they call it bipartisan because there was one Republican involved, and that was Langford out of Oklahoma. One. So now let's listen to what our president has to say about where we are today. Check this out.
After just 1 year, we have achieved more than anyone could have imagined. Starting on day one, I took immediate action to stop the invasion of our southern border. For the past 7 months, 0 illegal aliens have been allowed into our country, a feat which everyone said was absolutely impossible. Do you remember when Joe Biden said that he needed Congress to pass legislation to help close the border? He was always blaming Congress and everyone else. As it turned out, we didn't need legislation. We just needed a new president.
Yeah. Yo, he right though, cause I remember actually having conversations with people, and they was bringing this talking point up, cause that's all they got is talking points. And I remember they kept saying this, oh, Trump blocked the border bill, Trump blocked the border bill, but what they didn't even realize is this obviously was a real bill that didn't pass, and it didn't pass because even Democrats didn't even some Democrats didn't vote for it, but it was a bad bill, and that's why it didn't pass. But they were out here touting it around. That's what they do, bro. They just want to put these, this perception out there, like Trump is this bad guy who is trying to stop us from progress, when all they ever do is just fucking are just hurting Americans. To be honest with you,
And that was the facts. So we just needed a new president, and President Trump did that. Now, the next accomplishment that was done was the cut of the waste, fraud, and abuse. The billions of dollars that Doge was able to catch and find. And there would have been no way that we would have been able to catch the fraud at the speed that we're catching it now. And people say, man, this has been going on for all these years, because do you know the amount of people, manpower, man hours and woman hours would have been required to go through all of these different agencies and all of these line items to catch the waste, fraud, and abuse? The AI technology came in and is able to do in minutes what would have took teams of hundreds of people years to accomplish. It was just too much work, too much money, and too many different people blocking it. You needed to have a president, a Senate, and a House that are all in alignment for it to work the way that it has. But listen to Elon explain why the Democrats fought him and Doge so hard, even though it benefits the country. And then we're going to follow it up with where we are today. Check this out.
They hate me because Doge is being effective. And Doge is getting rid of a lot of waste before that people on the left were taking advantage of. That's what it comes down to. And the single biggest thing that they're worried about is that Doge is going to turn off fraudulent payments of entitlements. I mean, everything from Social Security, Medicare, unemployment, disability, small business administration loans, turn them off to illegals. This is.
Notice what he said, turn it off to illegals. So people keep trying to argue that, oh, Trump is I was actually talking to my peoples the other day, and he made this argument that Trump is stopping people, he's taking people's food stamps away. And then I'm like, bro, no, he's not, bro. I'm like, yo, bro, every single time you bring these talking points up, bro, you never back it up with no facts at all. I said, bro, he's not. What he did was he took illegal immigrants off of getting any social welfare at all, and able-bodied men, pretty much anybody that's able-bodied. If a woman kids are in school, she had to work up to a certain amount of hours. It's just stipulations, but illegals are the ones that's being taken off. So when they say, oh, millions of Americans are being taken off of these welfare benefits, they're lying. Straight lying, bro.
The crux of the matter. This is the thing that why they really hit my guts and want me to die.
And do you think that's billions, hundreds of billions? What do you think the scale is of that?
Across the country, it's well north of 100 billion, maybe 200 billion. By using entitlements fraud, the Democrats have been able to attract and retain vast numbers of illegal immigrants and buy voters. They basically bring in, 10, 20 million people who are beholden to the Democrats for government handouts and will vote overwhelmingly Democrat, as has been demonstrated in California.
Wow, that's why. Now, let's check out where we are today. And it's bad when CNN, a left-wing outlet, a left-wing radical outlet, has to speak truth to power. Check this out, as far as what Doge was able to do, and if Doge has been successful, and how much they've been successful.
Is claiming $160 billion in estimated savings, obviously with a lot of cuts, but that is way less than was promised. Rob, is it considered a success?
So far, yes, I would say. I mean, remember, Doge's work isn't going to be completed until July 4th of 2026. We're only 100 days in. So comparatively, when you go back decades and look at the failure of anyone, whether it be in the presidential administration or Congress, to reduce the size of government, you have to go back to, what, Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich when they had a balanced budget? I'd say yes.
So to you, it was like a necessary fire starter.
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to.
So again, even on CNN, they have to admit, yes, it's a success. $160 billion is what they found. And you saw how that's talking head on there trying to say, you know, it's still much less than what they said. These people.
Bro, like the fact that they be trying to like downplay these findings are crazy to me, bro. And I'll always say, like, if this money once, because you got to think this money is stopping. Like these illegal immigrants that are getting all of these welfare benefits aren't going to be getting them in 2026 and forward, right? Unless a Democrat happens to get in 2028, or they, I guess, maybe win the midterms or something. But so in the next 3 years, potentially the money that's going to be saved is going to be astronomical. And from what Trump is saying, this this uh this tax season, this refund season, people are going to be seeing a lot more money, bro. So I'm excited about it. I can't wait, to be honest with you.
People are insufferable. That's why celebrating these victories are so important. Because if we don't do it, they're definitely never going to do it. Now, the third accomplishment, which is actually one of the biggest, if not the biggest, is the fact that energy prices, gas prices are down across the board. Check out how life was, and then we're going to show you where we are today. Check this out.
Biden-Harris economic record, and that's what we do too right now. January 2021, still reeling from COVID. That's when they were sworn into office. In June of 2022, inflation peaked at a high of 9.1%, which was the highest since November of 1981. Gas prices now, June and July of 2022, that same year, I've got $5.16 national average to be the peak in July of that month. In October 2023, that's when real estate started to feel it. The mortgage rates hit almost 8% in that month. That Biden-Harris economic record.
So, as you saw, things were abysmal under the Biden administration. And now let's bring it up to present day under the Trump administration, where we've got lower gas prices, interest rates are going down, home buyer rates are going down across the board. If we continue on the trajectory that we are, 2026 is going to be a boom year, and I'm extremely confident of that, because you just got to look at the historical data and then look at the trends. When you see how everything is trending, and it's all predicated on the tariffs, on the tax cuts, and on Americans spending. That's really what it is, to get this engine going where people have confidence going back out to the store because they're not terrified that if they spend some money, they're not going to be able to replace it. Or because the fact of the matter is, when you have inflation, trying to get prices back to where they were prior to the Biden administration, that's not how things work. What you want to do is you want to increase wages to a point to where it affects you just like it would have affected you prior to the Biden administration, where it's not that big of a hit as far as in what you're spending as it compared to what you're earning. They've already seen an increase of $1,300 per home as far as on the increases alone, strictly from the gas prices. So you'll see it happening. When you do your taxes, you definitely gonna feel it, but just start paying attention. You're gonna start seeing it even in your wages at your place of business or in your business if you're self-employed. Watch, you will see it, you will feel it. And I'm excited about it, but check this out.
Prices, they've been under control really all year, and they're ending the year at especially low levels. So the national average, 286 a gallon. That's down by 21 cents from a month ago. It's also the lowest level since April of 2021. Now, gas prices were pretty low a year.
Let's think about that. Since April of 2021, this is the lowest it has been. And to me, it's still high. You know what I'm saying? But we know how high it was getting, bro. The shit was almost $5 a gallon in New Jersey. California probably was like almost 8, some outrageous number. But these numbers, we talking about 21 cents, and it's like, it's not a lot of money, but when you add it up, especially people that drive on a daily basis, who do a lot of driving, this stuff matters to them, bro. This stuff matters to people, bro. In the grocery store, there's a lot of items that are going down in the grocery stores. So when they sit up here and they lie and try to make it seem and try to sabotage what Trump is doing, that's what I always say, bro. I don't see it. I just don't see it because I'm actually out here. I actually shop. I'm in the stores. I get gas all the time. Like I'm seeing this stuff, and I know people are too. So that's what I'm saying. And you got to think this only year one. This only year one. Year 2026, 2027, bro. Just like Brian Maxwell said, bro. She's gonna be booming, bro. She's gonna be booming, and that's the scary. It's a scary part too because we've seen, you can call it conspiracy. I'm gonna say allegedly, but we've seen what happened in 2020, in 2020, 2021. You know what I'm saying? And we hope nothing like that happens again. But like I said, bro, these people get desperate and they're willing to do anything to sabotage with Trump. They do not like the fact that the inflation numbers is coming in under what the CBO is predicting. They are not liking the fact that gas is going down, energy is going down, grocery prices are going down. They don't like this, man. They don't like it at all because it makes Trump look good. And then we know Trump obviously can't go for a third term, even though he plays on that and stuff like trolls on him about it. But JD Vance is right there. JD Vance is, come on, bro. Everybody knew JD Vance is going to be next up. So that's 2 more terms. So you got Trump 3 more years plus JD Vance, who's a part of Trump's administration right now. So JD Vance runs for president, becomes the president. That's pretty much 8 years, especially if he continues, Trump's legacy and what he started during his administration and whatnot. Bro, we talking about the next decade could potentially be like super, super, super good, bro, for America, bro. And I'm excited because I think, honestly, bro, by the end of Trump's term, bro, we could get to a point where, especially rooting out all this fraud, saving all this money, if when next spring come and the Supreme Court makes their ruling on whether Trump's tariffs are legal or whatnot, or if he can continue to do these tariffs, bro, we talking about mass amount of money saved from weeding out all the fraud, waste, and abuse, and then all the money coming in from tariffs, bro. Income tax. Goodbye.
Year ago too, but they're even lower right now. When you look across the country, there's 10 states where the average is below $2.50 a gallon, right? Including Louisiana, Texas, Wisconsin, Iowa, Colorado. Oklahoma has the cheapest gas price in the country at $2.29 a gallon. And this trend could continue at least for a bit. Gas Buddy is projecting.
It's funny because I told somebody, I'm like, bro, gas went all the way down close to $2 in some places. They like, you're lying. Where? I'm like, bro, where you say Oklahoma? I don't know, what's that, the Midwest or something? But I'm like, bro, it's going down. I'm like, bro, it's $2.70 out here where I'm at. Like, I'm in Jersey. Jersey is kind of expensive. So if it's $2.70 out here, I know in places down south, we're talking about close to $2. So they don't want to see the like, my thing is this. Why wouldn't you want to see any president, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. Why wouldn't you want to see them pass policies that help Americans? You know what I mean? Why you don't want to see them start wars? Because it's Trump. That's what it's all about. Because Trump is doing it. Because Trump is stopping the wars. Because Trump has, prices going down, inflation down, and what's the Fed dropping? I forgot the name, but yeah, bro. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Oh, mortgage. What is it? Mortgage rates or oh man, I forget. But anyway.
The national average on Christmas Day will be
hate
just
Trump, boy.
$2.79 a gallon.
real.
That would take
TDS
out
is
the
so
low
real.
from last year, which was previously the lowest since 2020. And Gas Buddy says this will save drivers about $500 million over what they spent last year.
Not each, collectively.
Not each, collectively.
And see, those are the type of savings that they're not big enough where a person will say, oh my God, there's an extra $300 in my bank. But they're small and they're happening. And I'm grateful for your patience. Urgent message for seniors brought to you on behalf of the sponsor, Dr. Surgery. Why you PDF file? They said, you know why? The Democrats has thrown their worst of the worst shots that they could throw at the president already.
Yep.
What else can they throw? They accused him of being a PDF file. They said he was going to rob the country. They said he was going to crash the economy.
Yep.
They said that he was in bed with Putin. They said all of the worst stuff that you can throw out, they've thrown it out. And guess what? None of it worked. And so if they come out trying to do their same old shit and throwing out some of that same old stuff, it's just going to be even less effective. So now they're going to have to come up with a new shtick, but they're going to have to figure out how to do it and justify that we need to get rid of Republicans while everything is getting so much better in people's lives. That's extremely challenging, and they're not going to be able to do it, especially looking at the failure of Democrat-ran states.
Yep. And also the, the men and women sports issues, like these back issues that really ate on really many conservatives' mind, but at the same time, bro, we don't want our kids going to school being taught about, you know, uh LGBTQ stuff and all that, or especially our kids, our younger kids, especially. Come on, we don't need men dress up as women reading our children books, bro. We don't need that. So the fact that that type of stuff too is also being eliminated, as far as being like in schools and whatnot like that, and then men playing and competing against women, and like who want, like, listen, you do have at younger ages, you do have girls that like I be seeing, I follow this one guy where his daughter does the whole, was it martial arts or wrestling or whatever she does, but she be competing against little boys and stuff like that. That's cool. We you have that. I've even when I was growing up in football, you'll have some chick that'll come out during midgets and play football with the boys and whatnot. So it happens, but we're talking about college. Like like what are we talking about, bro? You have grown ass men out here. The volleyball girl, boy, ended her whole career. Hit her with the motherfucking volleyball so fucking hard, ended her whole shit.
They don't have anybody or anything that they can point to and say, see, look at how we do it. Because when they say, look at how we do it, that's going to make everybody run to the right even faster.
Yeah.
So now the next thing that we want to highlight is the tax breaks. Now, I want you to take a listen to psychopath Elizabeth Warren as she goes on one of her rants about taxes, because as you know, the Democrats are the party of, they want to tax you into oblivion. The wealth tax, the Republicans are not with that. They're doing everything they can to block that. That is a penalty for being successful. The wealth tax penalizes the successful people and gives it to those who are not successful people. It is socialism on steroids, but it's hidden. And that's the way they always do it. The Democrats hide behind these civil rights and civil liberties, but really it is socialism. But you can't put lipstick on a pig and think it's going to make her a 10. It's not going to happen. And they trying to put lipstick on the pig, and the pig is high taxes. Check this out.
The world's richest freeloader evidently has a very thin skin. But you know the part that really makes me angry about this? It's on behalf of every public school teacher, every waitress, every computer programmer, every street cleaner who actually paid taxes. And that means they paid more than Elon Musk did. When these guys not only get to rake it all in, but then rub everybody else's nose in it while they head off into outer space and declare how they did.
She said that these average, but regular workers are out here paying more taxes than Elon Musk.
This all on their own when they were subsidized by the federal government and subsidized by every waitress and by every public school teacher who paid their taxes.
If you ever pay attention and watch Elizabeth Warren, that woman is a demon. Yeah. The glasses she tries to carry this like, oh, wholesome mom look, but just watch her eyes and her face. Sister. That woman is evil.
This is wrong. And Elon Musk needs to eat a big dish of that.
He's a freeloader and he doesn't pay his fair share of taxes. And it has been announced this morning that he will pay $11 billion in taxes.
That just seems like a really big contribution to me. Good for him is what I say. Look, Elizabeth Warren's whole diatribe about how the rich don't pay their fair share, we all know it's wrong. We know that the top 1% pays 40% of taxes. I don't know how many times you can keep saying these things. Elizabeth Warren doesn't care. It's her line. It's not true. It's a major falsehood. And it drives so much discontent.
Like, but hold on, real quick. You see how quickly she just debunks that whole narrative? They keep saying that the rich don't pay their fair share, but that was back in 2021 when she was saying that we know that the 1% pays 40% of taxes. So
In this country and
you
so
can't
much
make this shit up, bro.
partisanship. I think it's really a shame. But on this one, man, does she look like a loser?
Like, you know, and the fact of the matter is they say this crap. Oh, you know, the rich don't pay taxes. The wealthy pay far more taxes than the average person. Oh, but the percentage is lower. Well, yeah, because the pot that you're pulling it from is bigger. Why should somebody making $100 million pay 10%, which would be $10 million, and then somebody making $20,000 pay 10%, and they pay $200? I mean, $2,000. I mean, how was that even? Just because I'm more successful, what should I? So that means that I just carry all of the load? No, it should be relative to the amount of income, because these folks are taking advantage of all types of loopholes. And the fact that these Democrats can get on television and spew these lies like this, and it's scary because they manipulate people. Now let's listen to what Scott Bessent has to say about what's really going on with taxes and what the Trump administration has done for you and I.
This is just like TCJA in 2017, and the amount that the top 10% of total taxes that they paid went from 37% to 45%. That this is a deal for working people, because what we have is President Trump's 2017 tax bill, and we are overlaying that with the president's campaign promises. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, the lower tax on Social Security, and tax deductibility of American-made cars. Those sound like working-class tax breaks to me. This is just like.
Now, check out what President Trump has to say. He gave during his New Year's roundup. Check this out.
Next year, you will also see the results of the largest tax cuts in American history that were really accomplished through our great, big, beautiful bill, perhaps the most sweeping legislation ever passed in Congress. We wrapped 12 different bills up into one beautiful bill. That includes no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. Under these cuts, many families will be saving between $11,000 and $20,000 a year, and next spring is projected to be the largest tax refund season of all time. Next year, you will.
That's what we voted.
Yeah, I can't wait, bro. Shout out to Brian Maxwell bringing that. But yo, I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be good, bro. It's gonna be good, man. You know, they want you to hate Donald Trump. They want you to uh, go against Donald Trump on every single thing, because they manipulated the people to think that Donald Trump, he's a racist. He doesn't care about you. Literally every projection that they have, it was wrong. Every one. Every single one. They said it was going to be a recession. They said that the market was going to crash. They said that inflation was going to go up. They said that that you know everything, like every single thing, bro. You know, they claimed that he was in the Epstein files, but you know the I believe there's a lot of people in the Epstein files, including Donald Trump, but not in the way that they're trying to make it. Just like I don't believe there's a lot of people that was in them pictures that, was doing things that had to do with what Jeffrey Epstein was charged with or whatever, or was accused of. But yeah, anyway, man. Shout out to Donald Trump, bro. When they keep bringing all of this stuff, trying to sabotage him in every which way, like I honestly, bro, I give props to I got to give props to Donald Trump, like, because you got to think what it takes in order to have 4 years of not being able to trust a single person in your cabinet, including your vice president, right? And having them come at you with all of these fake stories, fake, the Russia hoax, the fine people hoax, and all of that. Have to go through all of that stuff, then go through impeachments, then go through lawfare, them trying to bankrupt Donald Trump, and then go through losing to Joe Biden by astronomical numbers. Joe Biden is not as popular as Obama was. So the fact that Joe Biden got more uh, uh, vote votes than even Obama we know that was a fake, and that's the reason why Donald Trump to this day has never said that he lost the 2020 election. He always claimed that he always said that he was cheated. But anyway, then he loses the election to Joe Biden. by him cheating, and then basically takes a hiatus for 4 years, comes back with the biggest comeback ever, wins against Kamala Harris in the end, after pretty much embarrasses Joe Biden. And now we're here, and within a year, this guy has done so much already. So much already, has put so much into play already. Bro, the next 3 years it could be really good, man. It could be really good. And uh just listen, bro, you need it, like welfare, the welfare services, whole thing, the Medicare and all that stuff, Obamacare, it wasn't sustainable. It just wasn't. It's just not sustainable. And what people don't understand is if things didn't change, uh, there wasn't going to be no Social Security or welfare in the next probably 10 years. You know what I mean? Definitely 20. If things stayed on that same path, it wasn't going to be, bro. All that stuff was going to be obsolete because it was going to be uh unaffordable. We wouldn't have been able to pay for it anymore. But like I said, man, shout out to Donald Trump. But let's get into this next John. Let's get into this next John with my guy Oschino.
Mind you, this is my son calling from jail. I gotta take this.
Yeah, take that. Yeah.
At FBI Chester.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Will be recorded and may be monitored.
And we can hear it good too.
Please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number.
Real quick, that's fire though, to be on it, to be on this Philly podcast. It's called Tales from the Jail, right? And then have your son, you talking all of these stories about jail, whatever, and not necessarily glorifying it, just giving you the truth about your time in jail, and then your son call who's doing 20 to 40. What's the odds of that happening? That was meant to be.
Call. To review, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
What's up, boy? I love you, man. I missed your call yesterday. But listen, guess where I'm at? Guess what I'm doing? I'm on a podcast right now talking about prison.
Tales from the jails.
And they can hear you.
Assalamu alaikum.
He said Assalamu alaikum, Muji. So good. Listen, no. Tell him how much time you got right now.
I got 20 to 40. Close to 7 years.
So like.
Where jail you at?
Yeah, he just got moved to Chester.
Oh, okay.
But what jails you been at so far since you been booked?
I came through. I stopped at Phoenix. Went to Kentfield there for a while. Smithfield. Got kicked out of there with the Rockview. Now I'm at Chester.
Yeah.
And you see, got 7 in.
Yeah. Been around.
Ask me if he can explain to us his mind state now, like before going in and now being in there.
You hear him, Muji?
I don't think you hear it.
He said, what's the difference? What's your mind frame? The difference in your mind frame from when you went in there until how you feel now?
A lot of it, like before I got in this joint, like I feel like I was like the roughest and toughest, as bad as you mean, and like nobody can really do nothing. I had all the answers, but now I'm doing time, going through trials, tribulation, and error. I see that like I got rid of my pride. I don't got a problem with accents, like a problem with I took away like the arrogant and the nonchalant, I took that stuff away, and it helped me like prevail and grow. You mean? So I definitely grew up in this joint.
Actually, what was the hardest transition for him to make? I mean, I know prison is a tough transition, but what was the hardest adjustment he had to make being behind that wall?
He said, "What's the hardest transition you had being in prison?"
Like the hardest transition is, I'm gonna say like knowing that it's the way. It's knowing that it's the way out, but you can't figure out how to do it.
Wow.
Because it's like you be like, a lot of stuff they did was like wrong or stuff that was like illegal, whatever the case may be, and you can't articulate it. That was like the hardest transition, because it's like I feel as though sometimes I'm feeling like I'm the inmate of prison, whatever you want to leave with. You feel what I'm saying?
Dang.
I'm just in this joint, like, you mean?
I'm gonna tell you something though, from being a father, right?
Yeah.
So no matter what you say or admit, even if you wasn't directly, you always feel like you could have did something different or it's your fault.
Yeah.
I mean, and then me and my son was beefing. He in jail. We can't even beef right because I can't talk to him that much.
Mm-hmm.
But since Muji, when we make up, Muji?
Like, I know before I came down, I've been down here for what, like almost 6 months. So I'm gonna say probably like end of February, March, like somewhere during Ramadan, something like that, like before Ramadan, like March-ish.
Mm.
And so basically, he's saying like him and his son Muji, they both, they had a little falling out or whatever the case may be. He was saying like, so I'm not gonna play this. So it's a long podcast. Y'all should go check it out. It's a really good joint though, because I can relate because I've been to prison. I've been to prison twice, but to some of the stories that they tell, I can relate to. But I love if like he goes into he had a son that passed away, like a tragic situation. So just seeing a nigga that come from the streets, and he kind of break it down things he been through as a father, like losing his son tragically, the way he did, and that whole situation, and then now you got then right after that, his other son, gets locked up and gets a 20 to 40, like gotta do 20 joints regardless of anything. You know what I mean? Before he even get a chance to come home. I think he said he got locked up when he was like 19, so he ain't gonna see he gonna see daylight. He make it through there. You gonna see daylight like 40. That ain't too old, but it just crazy though, cause like been to prison, been shot, all that stuff. He from the trenches. You know what I'm saying? So and now his son going through the same shit. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show you, like, I wanted to play this because, like, this the shit that I need to start getting into for real, because it's what it's about, bro. Like, it just goes to show you the dynamic of like the hood, like what it's like. You know what I'm saying? Like having, a parent that's from the streets, and then like, now his son in the streets. Like I knew niggas that was father and son that was in the joint together, like, and that be a lot of dynamics that be in the hood, and it's unfortunate. And this was a dope conversation though, because he in there and he kind of reflecting. He been in there, I think he said 7 years, so he got 7 joints in already, and he kind of reflecting on like all the things he already done been through coming in. Like when you go to prison, like you go through these phases, like because you don't really know what to expect. You kind of nervous, you kind of scared. You don't know what to expect, and then you kind of get you do adjust. You know what I mean? You feel like you got anybody to say something. You got straight pop off on them. You got all these different dynamics, and then you get to a point where you're comfortable, and then you like, hold on, man, I'm too comfortable, and the jail is crazy because jail can really save you. Like jail saved me. Like going to prison saved my life. I'm gonna be honest with you, it saved my life. I didn't want to go to the second time. It was a whole nother situation. I just took it on the chin. I was already knew how to bid my second bid. My second bid, I did that like it was nothing. And people it sound crazy, but when you institutionalized, bro, it just is what it is. But jail saved me because I was able to actually like take everything and be like, damn, and look at things differently. You know what I mean? Like I was able to be like, yo, like one of the biggest things is I thought about how much we shit on our ancestors who actually went through real slavery, real Jim Crow, real segregation, really went to jail just for being black. You know what I'm saying? To where they fought for the freedoms that we have today. Then now it sound like, man, you ain't think. I really thought that deep. I used to be in the joint. I used to feel nutty as hell being in prison, but I felt super nutty, bro. And then another dynamic was, I'm like, damn, bro, we so uneducated. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we super uneducated. Like, our whole thought process when you from the hood is just the streets. The streets. That's all you hear niggas talk about, the streets. What another nigga doing, what he got, what he driving, this, that, and the third. Niggas ain't even thinking about, family, kids. Niggas say that shit when they get locked or whatever the case may be. They'll bring that shit up during parole or something. But for the most part, bro, niggas be thinking about the streets, bro. And the streets is dangerous, bro. You heard Nipsey. Nipsey said, you know what I mean? Call us dumb niggas because our culture is contagious. That's real shit. The culture is definitely contagious. For sure. But let's get back into this.
So, but now, like, bro, mind you, we've been tight. Mind you, on the streets, we ain't had no beef at all. We was tight. I mean, but it made us both grow as a father and son.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, the way we love each other now. It make it bittersweet because now when she was home because we could be doing so many things.
Exactly. Now the relationship is like is tight now.
Tighter than it ever been. I mean, before he was younger. You mean now? What you 26, Muji?
Yeah, I'm 26. Yeah.
You mean so like it's like. You mean
a call from
you got 14 years left towards minimum. But it's crazy they call it right now.
This call is subject to
It's crazy they call it right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like you mean. But I'm just glad that he don't got wills.
Exactly.
So he's going to get out one day.
Mhm.
And Muji, you talk to the young people that's going to hear this.
I was asking, what advice can he give the youth?
But before he answered, how old was he when he got sentenced?
He got like 19.
19 years old.
Mind you, I just did some time with Glenn Lowe.
And got 20 to 40 at night. This is how real it is.
What's the deal?
They don't care about you being young, 18. They don't care about that.
What's the deal?
20 to 40 at 19. I hope they listening, man. They giving it out.
What you say?
Tell him I was 20. I just turned 20.
You was 20, but you already was doing or down for like before you got the time for like what, like over a year.
Yeah, like I got locked up for I was 20, but the case is from when I was 18.
But he still was okay.
So what you want to say to the young boys that's out there wrecking and I mean and all that? 'Cause you know a lot of that South Philly stuff don't never end, and the young boys are they just catching wreck and not understanding what the consequences is. What you got to say to them?
Just say like don't believe these people that's out here and that's rampant and never been through it. You feel me?
Yeah.
When you come through these joints, man,
that's a fact.
Like I went through it. I mean, I was 133 pounds and smaller. You feel me? Going to work because of stuff in the streets. But if you did or didn't do it, it doesn't matter. You feel what I'm saying? You got to stand on everything. Like, the saddest part is that you can die in these joints. Don't think because you in jail you can't die. Niggas be playing with knives in this joint. You can check out whatever the case may be. You mean?
This is a call from Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Chester. This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
You on these joints, man, and you be thinking loyalty is fake until they give you the dub 30, and you calling niggas for money, you calling people to check on stuff, and you can get nothing done, and everybody forget about you, and then your homies see how these been felt. It's like, and sometimes it'll make you realize the hatred, and they don't tell you this stuff when you know you're hungry, you 6 hours away, your book's slow, you mean like cable dude, you ain't got nothing jumping, nobody coming to see you, like that shit real, man. You got to stand on everything, you feel me? So I say that to say, man, like, prepared, man, because I was like that. Well, ain't gonna be me, man. Like I ain't gonna be me. Everybody gonna be serious.
Hey yo, I think that's some real shit. I think everybody that's from that be in the street say that same shit. Like, man, that ain't me, man. I move different. Like everybody think they move the best, they do the best. And my thing is, bro, the streets is undefeated, boy. Them streets is undefeated. You not beating the streets. It's just what it is. And me, more importantly, what I used to tell niggas is because I respect the young niggas that be like, man, I'm going back. All right, bro. I'm going right back. I hear you. Like, they hear you. You know what I'm saying? They be like, I'm going right back out there, boy. Getting straight to it. And I can respect that. You know what I'm saying? But, I used to tell niggas, do the math. Do the math when you really do the math. Like, bro, you make more money. I make more money than most drug dealers. I make more money just working. More than most drug dealers. Oh, right now, he doing podcasting, art. He's still doing the music. He making way more money than most drug dealers. We not talking about the nigga that's on top, the caseworker, certain niggas. We talking about the average drug dealer that's hand to hand in and out on the block. Niggas that's working is making more money because you got to think about it. When you out in the streets, you don't know when it's your time. At any given time, them boys can pull up and it's over for you. You know what I'm saying? And then not niggas just don't even be just selling drugs. Niggas be doing home invasion, robberies, all types of shit. Man, the boys that sit on you. They'll sit on you, boy. Like, you out there selling dope, whatever the case, man, they'll do a whole year, 2-year investigation on, indict the whole block. They don't be playing like when the feds come, even when they coming, boy. They not playing no games, and they coming to sit you down. But the whole thing is, like, when you do the math on it, bro, on a great day, a nigga might get locked and have, 40, 50,000 in a tuck. Bro, and I say out of it's only 1% of niggas that come in jail that's really like chewing to the point where they got some houses, maybe some passive income coming in, a little barbershop or something. They got something to come home to. That's 1% of niggas that go to jail. The other 99% out of them, I say it's a good 20, 25% of niggas who actually get locked with a couple of hours, like with some decent little money. You know what I mean? But that's gone within the first year most of the time. That's gone between lawyers, commissary, money on the phone. You might hit your girl off for rent, whatever the case may be. That shit gone. Bro, 99% of niggas that come home with nothing. Or they, or obviously you got niggas that come home, niggas might be eating or whatever, be able to put them on, or whatever the case may be. But I'm talking about realistically, bro, most niggas, let's say 90%. 90% of niggas come home with nothing, bro. Starting over. So when you think about it, you know what I mean? You hustle, you had a little run for a year or two. Because that's like the average run. Nigga might have a run for a year or two, let's just say 3. Then the nigga get booked, and then now he doing a 3 to 5, 5 to 10, whatever the case may be, depending on what the shit is. He doing 20 to 40, so that's probably he probably got a body. I'm not 100% sure, but he probably got a body. That's like big numbers. But don't get it fucked up. And niggas that be doing home invasions and robberies be getting the same number, bro. That shit be real, bro. That shit be real, bro. I done seen it all, bro. I done been down Bayside. Shit bleeding down there with lifers, niggas that ain't never coming home. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you see a nigga, this nigga still fighting his shit. This nigga been locked up since 82. When you see shit like that, bro, it just give you a different perspective on life. Like, it really make you, when you get home, like, you really be cherishing shit, boy, the small thing. Cause it ain't, it's just really what it is, bro. Shit is a waste of time, bro. And like, jail ain't for nobody. That shit ain't for nobody, but niggas just get caught up in that street life, bro. But niggas, that's really true, though. People don't tell you, like, when you out in the streets, nobody tells you, like, yo, just know what come with this shit. And then, you get 3 to 5, you get 5 years, 10 years, They ain't telling you none of that. Niggas out here hungry, need some money, they willing to do whatever to get some paper. But when niggas get that time, boy, it's a whole nother story. Cause I know niggas, bro, who football numbers, boy, like big shit. I knew a nigga that was trying to get a dub. He was begging for 20 years. He was trying to get a dub. Man, that shit ain't no joke, bro. I've seen it all. Let's finish this up.
How many friends?
Everybody get locked up. They miss their kids, their girl, their dad, their mom.
He got me ready to cry, man, because everything he's saying is like waking up memories that I'm trying to bury and you can't bury them.
Right.
Ask him how many friends you had when you went in to how many friends you got now that are in there.
He said how many friends you had when you went in and how many friends you got now. I know some of his friends went to prison with him.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. That's what I said. Like some of them is, I mean, is upstate with me. With more time than me. You feel what I'm saying? And some of them home. And it's something that we don't see. I mean, due to disagree, agree to disagree. You know how that go, you mean? But I have a couple ones left that do what they can do for me. I mean, I can see everybody's blessing or everybody bad. But, a lot of the ones that I did, like love or confide to, was top with me. It's crazy. Some of my best friends is people that not from my neighborhood.
People you met in there.
And
he said people you met in there.
That's real shit, though.
People I met in here. People that's my neighborhood, that's my best friend. Like
Word.
Like it's old lady that went home, man. We met at Rockview, LB Blue, and he met him at Rockview, man. He went home. He sent me photo books daily, like send me whatever I need.
What part of Philly he from? Where he from?
He's from North.
What's his name? Ask him
What's his name? He said his name LV?
Yeah, LB, Lil Boo.
Oh, Lil Boo.
Shout out to Lil Boo.
Shout out to Lil Boo,
I
man.
mean, get at us. You want to give you your flowers,
hey,
man.
Muji, one of your COs DM'd me too. He said he was talking to you. He didn't know you was my son. Then he like, he found out you was my son or something. I don't know his name. He sent me a DM like 3 days ago.
Yeah, man, yeah, you mean?
But you called it at the right time. But I want you to tell. I want you to do, right. I want you to say what it feel like, right? Like when think about your hardest day in there. What was your hardest day in prison like since you've been in prison?
My hardest day in prison. My hardest day in prison.
Yeah.
Hardest day. Was like they gave me that time. I was on CJC, man.
I know that. I know he was gonna say that.
Man, and they gave me that time. And that shit felt like when they gave me when they gave me
that shit was crazy.
It was like you wanted to like everything just like you just wanted to think like I'm about to be fucking 6 years old here, like I'd be 40, like damn. That was like the most hardest thing because it felt like I let a lot of people down, like my mom, my sisters, like family. I'm like, damn, like I was just thinking about like, fuck I'm about to do, man, with 20 years. Like, how the fuck I'm about to walk that down?
Shit, you ain't got no choice. That's the reality of it. But yo, I keep that shit crazy. I just wanted to play that, man, just cause it was the dynamic of like father and son and like how he was just like uh old and been through shit. Now he got he lost his one son. He didn't lose his other son to the streets though. It was a bad car accident. Him and his girlfriend passed away in a car accident. And tragic John, I know that John. I can't even imagine, dog. And so I feel him, yo. Like, I fuck with like his Johns would be crazy, but like I be feeling him though because like I can't. I mean, on that I can't imagine, bro. But I feel like his pain on it. Like when he talk about it, like I feel him. Like, I'm like, cause I couldn't imagine losing my son, one of my sons. Like that shit crazy. And then he got another son doing 20 to 40. Like so, but yeah, he was talking some shit on there though, man. I gotta go check that joint out. Um, Tales from the jails. I'm gonna put the link in the description for sure. But y'all should go check that out. The joint was from like 3 months ago. I ran by it. I'm like, yo, this a good joint. Like they really, they really be. I like the dynamic because it's just like they from Philly. A lot of niggas, been in and out of jail or whatnot, and they be bringing like Wallow was on there. I know I seen Wallow John, I seen Old John, and so they be, they just be giving up the game. It be laughs, it be, what I'm saying, be talking about the hardships, and then it be just like it's not coming from like glorifying it because niggas already know that shit. That shit weak. But the reality is coming from where we coming from. It's like, this the reality. A lot of niggas is gonna have to go through that, and it's just what it is. But I mean, I've been meaning to tap into. I've been hearing about this whole fuck the street shit, and I just want to see what niggas is talking about it. But it seemed like people want to start going that lane. I be telling my son be doing music. I be telling him, cause he dope. He got it with the music, and I'm like, bro, you gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta switch it up. You gotta change the trajectory. You know what I mean? Because we not winning with what we doing with the music right now. I mean, you really think about it over the past decade, how many young niggas dying? You know what I'm saying? Like how many niggas is dying in the game, and it's all related to the streets and just dumb shit. Like you know what I mean? It's sick. To be honest with you, it's really sick, bro. And like I would love to see, you know, because niggas like think about it, bro. Like the game is contagious. Like niggas really set trends. Like niggas really set the bar for a lot of shit. So we could really make like shit that's just not normal anywhere else. Like niggas getting killed on a regular basis. Sad, bro. You know what I mean? Nigga, like we heard a nigga get killed. It's like, word, damn. You know what I'm saying? Might talk about a nigga, rest in peace, all that, but it's just like too normal for us. You know what I mean? When niggas is dying, like that shit is sad. You know what I mean? Like we need to change the trajectory of, how we doing this shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Because we got so much talent. Man, yo, you be surprised, bro. In jail, what? In prison? Hella niggas with hella talent, bro. Like, even niggas with the ball game, all that, bro. Niggas be talented as hell, can draw. Niggas be super intelligent, be fucking making shit out of nothing. Like you be surprised, hella talented niggas that's in them in that box. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean. I be telling my son all the time. Like that's what a lot of my music be about. When I be doing the music, you know, I be on change. I be on trying to, you know, I ain't gonna keep trying to glorify the streets like this shit helping us. You know what I'm saying? When it's not. But at the same time, I don't like this shit on the streets because at the end of the day, it's a lot of positive that comes out of being from the streets. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of positive. Like, you know, you look at life a lot more different. Like you able to see things more different than a lot of people. So, you know, that kind of, it's an element of it that definitely helps you in life. For sure. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I don't want to keep saying niggas go to jail, niggas dying and all that shit. But anyway, man, that's the show for today. If you fuck with the show, make sure you hit that like button for me. Also, hit that subscribe button for your boy. I'm on the road to 1K subscribers. I'm at 156 right now. Help your boy on the road to 1K subscribers. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. This your boy SL550. Until next time, I'm out. Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again. Lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again.